Hello, welcome to this new episode. My name is MAGGIE KARIMI and this is Art Garage, where we do everything artsy. With me today is a man who is all about the lenses. I know when I mention lenses, you're thinking about cameras, photography, videography. Our guest today is one of the best photographers we have in this country. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Please tell us your name and a little bit about yourself.
My name is Peter Kaka. Photography for me is my lifestyle. That is what has been keeping me for the longest time. I've not done any other career apart from photography.
So you went to school for this?
No, I didn't go to school for this. I did graphic design. I started practicing graphic design a bit, but in the process, I realized that my designs needed pictures, because I used to do magazines, posters, CD covers. Back then, musicians were doing albums on CDs and all that. So they'll bring me bad photos and expect a good design. So that's when I bought a camera to at least show them how they should, the kind of pictures that I want.
So if you didn't go to school for this, ukanunua kamera, ulijifunza aje how to operate everything?
I learned from friends, the people who were already doing it professionally. So I met them while I was starting, and then I realized that actually these guys are doing photography for a living. So I decided to continue with it.
So from what I'm picking from is that you got into this because of passion. So is it a challenging career to be in compared to others?
Yes, it is. No, I can say it's the same thing as any other career, only that you need to manage the expectations and the expectations of your clients. So if you know what you're doing in photography, then you just take it like any other career.
So talking about expectations, how do you make sure you've met the expectations of your client?
I hardly do random shoots. So by the time I meet a client, I have already prepared them for what you're going to do. If it's a family shoot, I engage them before. I tell them what to dress, how to dress, where we are going to do the shoot from. So by the time we meet, it's we already have a relationship. If it's a wedding, I meet them a couple of times before the wedding, so I get to know them, they get to know me more, so that we don't become strangers on the particular day. So I don't find it very hard managing the expectations. Yeah.
And what does your family think about this line of work?
To begin it was a bit weird. You remember back in the days, a photographer was a guy with a bicycle, you know, camera hanging there. So when I told them that this is a line I want to take, I could see the reaction from my dad's face. They couldn't believe that all the school fee we had paid was going to end up in a bicycle, you know. But with time I proved to them that it's actually a career, like any other career.
In this line of work, do you have any regrets? You said you're in it for how many years?
About 12 years professionally, but yeah. I think I've been in it longer. If I go back to our family album, the pictures that are there, I'm missing most of them. So I was the guy behind the camera, even when I was a toddler. So professionally 12 years, but I think it's been a lifetime.
And when COVID struck, how did it affect you?
It did affect me because first of all, I was not prepared like any other person, and then I already had plans of what I should do, you know, quarterly plans. It was just the beginning of the year. So by then I got shocked because I'd never taken like a long leave. So when guys were told to stay in the house, I also stayed in the house, and I didn't know what to do. So one of the first measures I did was to reduce on my expenses, but then hoping that it will pick up eventually, because even the weddings, the humanitarian work that we do, the corporates, they all went silent. So it really affected me.
Now, siku hizi kaka, I see people taking pictures with their phones. iPhones, Samsung. So what do you think makes you stand out?
Because phones are phones. Whether they come with cameras and all that, yeah, they can do that. But eventually, you need anyone who needs a professional photographer will not hire or get it from a phone photographer. They're good because they're instant. If I want a selfie with you or if I want a photo with you, the fastest thing to use is a phone. So they are quite instant, and that's okay. But they will never replace the camera, the real camera. So for anyone who knows the value of a picture, they will always go for a photographer, a professional photographer.
Kaka, what is this thing about photographers kulala chini, kukaa sijui aje wakipiga picha?
You know, creativity, you cannot define creativity. So sometimes we have to lie on the ground. Actually, we do it. We have to lie on the ground. Sometimes we have to go on top of something.
Do you do that?
Yes, I do it. Yeah. I lie. In fact, even in church when I'm doing like weddings, there are times I find myself on the floor. So one might assume that I've been delivered, but I'm looking for a shot.
Yeah. And in weddings inakuanga na maneno mob.
Yes.
Have you met clients wenye wanasumbua or they don't know what they want?
Many of them. Yeah. You know, for photographer, for a good photographer, is for me to guide, especially like a couple that's about to wed, because most of them it's their first time. So they assume it is also my first time to shoot a wedding. So they'll give me what they want, I'll listen to them. But in most cases, I know whatever they want doesn't really work out, because some of them have unrealistic demands. So it is, again, that's where professionalism comes in. So we don't have to, for one to be a professional photographer, it is not about shooting. It is even how you handle the business aspect, the delivery and all that. So advising clients on what they should do or not to do, or not to do, is also another way of, standing out.
So what if you advise a client and they don't take in your advice?
I let them be. When they insist on going their way, I let them be. But most of the time they come back and tell me you are right. For example, there's a client who told me she was doing a wedding on a weekday, and she asked me to be there at her parents' home by 5:30 in the morning, because the wedding was starting at 10 or 11, and the bridal team was about four maids and her, so there were about 5. So I talked to her. I told her I can be there by 5:30, but trust me, between 5:30 and 6:30 or 7, nothing will be going on. So I'll be there, yes, but I'll be doing nothing. So she insisted I go there. I said, because she's a client and maybe she's different from other clients, let me just go. So I got there at 5:30. No one was awake, so I had to go to the car, sleep for maybe an hour, and then when she eventually woke up, she came and found the dad washing the gates and the car.
Yeah.
So because she realized that I was right, and she wanted to feel him she was also right. She told me, the last time I saw my dad wash his car, I was a young girl. So could you please take photos of
him washing the...
Yeah. You see, the main reason...
Ndio ufanye kitu.
Yes, for me ndio nifanye kitu, but that was not the main reason why I went there.
Yeah.
I was going there to cover a preparation and all that, not washing the gate.
So did you cover the dad washing the gate?
I did a few pictures, yes.
Yeah,
but I'm sure she doesn't use them, or she doesn't, I just did it for her. Yeah.
Aliona ina haja.
Yes, so that's why I'm telling you. Sometimes clients feel like, especially like wedding couples, they feel like when they hire me, it's my first time to shoot a wedding. Little do they know?
Do they know?
I do it like every other weekend.
Yeah.
So I'm actually able to conduct a whole wedding. I can fit in the part of a parent,
Wedding planner,
pastor. I even know the verses.
hadi vows unajua.
Vows, reception. I can do a whole wedding myself. I can be the photographer, the videographer, the pastor, the father of the bride.
You've had.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And according to the way you've spoken, a lot of offenses can come in as you're working with people. How do you deal with that? Iyo kukasirika na kukua irritated.
You see, offense comes in anyway. It doesn't have to be photography alone.
Okay.
So ni kazi tu. For me, it's kazi. It's never personal.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example. We go to places, maybe an event, even a corporate event. These guys have hired me and have paid me a lot of money to cover the event. And then you find the HR or one of the top guys there standing in front of me, maybe even the guy signing my check, standing in front of me with a phone or an iPad, trying also to get moments. So if I don't tell this guy to sit down or to move, I'll miss the important shots. And it's the same guy who will ask me, what happened? Where is this shot?
When you missed the shot.
When I missed the shot. So sometimes I'm forced to force them to sit down.
So you have to be bold in this kind of work.
Yes, you have to be bold, but at the same time you have to be very courteous. You don't go and no, you just tell them, let me do my work. Yeah. Because and again I tell them, even couples for weddings or even any corporate event that I do, I tell them, see, please announce, these guys have hired a professional photographer and all the pictures will be taken. So sit down, enjoy the event or whatever it is, and let the photographer do the work.
And have you had clients who didn't want to pay at all?
Yes, we've had a few challenges.
Yeah,
the clients who call me for work, some as far as Garissa. I drive all the way to Garissa, spend there like 4 or 5 days, and I come back with nothing.
So how do you follow up on that? Is there a legal way you follow? Ama unaachana tu na hivyo?
You know, Maggie, I'm a photographer. I'm not a debt collector.
Okay.
So when it comes to my debt, if you owe me, I send the relevant people to collect debt for me. So whatever they tell you or do with you is up to you. So they will use any means to get my money because I pay them also. So sometimes it's challenging because most of my clients they turn out to be my friends eventually. So when I send a debt collector to you, you feel like it's getting personal, but it's not personal, it's business.
It's business.
Yeah. So I stick to what I know best, which is photography. If you refuse to pay me, I hand it over to people who are best at what they do. They collect the money from me.
And then kaka, I am curious. When I see photographers going out, kuna vitu wanabebanga zinaka mwavuli. There are kuna ingine ina shine. What are these things? Naonanga pia zingine ni lights.
Actually that's the word. Those are lighting equipment. They enhance pictures, photos. But these are things that you acquire as you continue. When I started with like a small digital, we used to call them cyber shots camera, Sony one.
Okay. So I've met people, they want to do photography but anangoje ile siku atapata pesa mingi anunue a very big camera.
Maggie, let me tell you a funny story. I first bought my first camera. I saw the camera on a shop along Kenyatta Avenue. And for like 9 months, I used to pass outside the shop and just look at it. Pass outside the shop, look at it. I think it cost me about 35,000. But for 9 months, I could not raise 35,000.
Wow.
So I used to see the camera, and then I knew one day I'll own this thing.
This is now the small camera.
Yes. So remember I told you I started work. I started as a graphic designer. So there's a school that I went to pitch for photography services to do their yearly magazine. So I pitched in January, and they went quiet. So come September, that's when they called me.
Uh-huh.
And they told me, you are here in January, come for a meeting.
Yeah.
So I went. They told me, I think we are now ready to give you the job. So by then I didn't have a camera. I only had my computer. So I didn't have a camera. I could not afford hiring a photographer to do the work.
Yeah.
So what I did, I told them, yes, it's very possible for me to do it. So we agreed on a figure. I sent them a quotation. But then I told them,
Uli agree na ujanunua camera?
yes. Now this is the funny part I'm telling you.
Hey.
After they approved the quotation,
Mm-hmm.
I told them, for me to begin this work, you have to pay me 60%. So they paid me 60%. And remember, back in those days, checks used to take, I think, 3 or 4 days to clear.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the money that I needed to buy a camera.
The camera, yeah.
Yes. So I told them, I'm busy this week. Maybe you can shoot next week. I was just giving time, for the check to clear.
Yeah.
So when the check cleared, I went, bought the camera.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how to use it. I didn't have a clue of how to use it. I just knew it was a good camera. Someone had recommended.
Mm-hmm.
So I took it home. I used to live with my parents then. I took it home, and I took their photos that night.
Your parents' photos?
My parents, my siblings.
Ndio ujue kutumia.
Kutumia camera. But you see now, the time I was taking the photos, it was at night.
Yeah.
So we are doing inside the house with
poor lighting.
Yeah. So I learned how to shoot now with poor lighting.
Mm-hmm.
And come morning, I'm going into a classroom where there's lights, all that.
Yeah.
So, and then I even forgot to remove the, those 2 tags, the new tags. So I show up the class. So one teacher noticed, hey, your things are new, eh? Hapana, zimekaa kidogo. It's only that nazitunza vizuri. Kumbe they were just 24 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but then I did the shoot. It went well. The only advantage I knew I had was that I'm a graphic designer. So if anything went wrong with the shoot, I'll be able to correct that in Photoshop and all that.
Yeah.
So the difference between me and most guys who started as photographers, purely as photographers, is that they cannot edit. So for me, and that's how fast I rose up, because I could take photos, edit, and still do a design.
Wow.
So they'll prefer working with one person rather than working with a photographer. Then you go look for a designer will look for a printer.
Na pia wewe hiyo pesa yote umekula because you don't need a team.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, sijakula. Niko fair.
Okay.
Niko fair because people are working with tight budgets. But what really made me now get into serious photography and made me some money was in 2007 when during campaigns.
Wow.
Yeah, so during campaigns, I don't know, somehow too, Facebook had just begun.
Yeah.
And when you post a photo, just one photo, the whole world will know you're a photographer and all that, So, and then by then these phones hazikuwa na hizo picha. So I did a lot of campaign posters.
Wow.
But the funny story is they all failed. All my candidates failed. I did about
Pole sana.
Okay, pole kwao. It was not because of my pictures. Because come 2012, 2013, I did the same thing. Now better.
Yeah.
And currently most of the MPs sitting in parliament right now, MPs, governors, senators, wamepitia mikono yangu.
Hey, sure.
Yes. So I have about 20 politicians who I know personally, or they know me personally, and they've come back. They came back in 2017. Just a few maybe lost, not because of the pictures, but because of their policies or
other things. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm assuming with these opportunities that came with the election, you must have developed uliongeza other equipments and everything.
niliongeza pesa kwa bank. Hiyo ndio ya muhimu. I don't believe in buying equipments per se. Yes, they're good, but sometimes they are necessary. You'll find there's a photographer I know.
Yeah.
He doubles up as my assistant most of the time. I think he has more equipment than me. But whenever we go for a shoot, I always, I wonder, with all this gear you have, maybe you are shooting the same event, but I still learn. So it is not about the gear.
Okay.
It is about the skill, just need, photography is like just like wildlife. No, photography, even event and all that, it's like wildlife photography. You need to be patient. You need to wait for the moment. You don't just click for the sake of clicking.
So Kaka, you have very interesting stories, both good and bad. Take us through how you overcame some things in your line of work na venye ulirudi juu tena. For example, you had told me something about the theft case. Tupatie your story.
In life, there are high moments and there are low moments.
True.
So I've been tagged. I've been tagged like twice.
Twice?
Yes.
I didn't know it was twice.
Twice, yeah. The first time I was alone. Actually, the two times I've been alone, somehow alone in the studio. So there's an old couple that came in and they were asking about some stuff. So I was seated at the reception area and the door leading to the studio was open. So immediately when I was talking to them, two other people walked in.
Yeah.
And they all confused me with questions. We want this, we or pointing out on so
they
many
were
things.
posing as clients.
Yes, they're all posing as clients. Remember the older ones who are about 50-something years, and then the younger ones who are about maybe 30 years.
Yeah.
So they asked me, is this a studio? Yes. Can we have a look at it? I said yes, but I was still talking to the older clients. Yes. So when they walked into the studio, my camera was just there. This guy managed to take it, and then he said, we'll be back. So he carried it in a way and been shielded by the other lady. So I couldn't see what he was carrying when they were leaving. So, and immediately they left, even the older couple left. That's when it hit me that there's something wrong. So when I went back into the studio, I found the camera was gone.
So hawa wote wanne walikuwa pamoja?
Yes, it was a click. So we got the guy on the streets, but he didn't have the camera because he'd already passed it over to someone else. So unfortunately, you cannot really press charges because there is no evidence. You got arrested, but at that time is when the new constitution was being implemented. So cash bail, 10,000, the day is out. So, but anyway, the insurance paid me, and I got a new camera.
And after that experience, did you think of kuhamisha studio to another place?
No, I've never.
How come?
I'll answer it this way. You've heard of so many car accidents.
Yeah.
You say that from today I'll be walking?
No.
Because yesterday there's a, So every day you'll find challenges everywhere you go. So it is up to you to face them. So there's another time someone tried to break into the studio, but I put a very strong door.
Yeah. So
they tried, but nothing happened. And then the third time is when now I felt it. I was going for an event, and I already packed all my gear.
Yeah.
Ready to leave. And then a client called me and insisted that they want to do a graduation photo shoot. I told them that I'm going, but they said I give them only 30 minutes. Most of the times when I go for an event, I go like an hour or 30 minutes early. So I said, let me sacrifice these 30 minutes of arriving early and attend to these guys because the people who walked with me. So I sent my assistant to go and grab some snacks so that we can at least eat before we go for the event. While she had left, 2 guys walked in, and then I was on my phone, and they told me, "This Peter, I've been looking for you." So after a few minutes, one was carrying an envelope. He opened the envelope and he removed a gun. So
ulisikiaje venye uliona hiyo gun?
You know, at first I thought he brought a product photo shoot. I knew this is my break. Product photography gun. You know. Before I knew it, the guy was demanding my phone.
Wow.
Kidogo, another guy walks in, slaps me, anambia lala chini. They take tie wraps, they tie me, they sellotape my mouth.
What was going on through your head when you ulislapiwa hivi?
First thing was I thought my kids.
Wow.
Because they were so young. I know these guys might finish me. So it was an intense moment.
So you thought uliona hapa naweza kufa sasa?
Hapa ni, you know, the first gun. This guy removed the gun and he told me whatever it is, we ask, please, later. And then they started demanding for a safe.
Hey.
Kumbe, these guys had done a survey. They had sent one of them before. And the safe they were talking about is a makeup, you know, that makeup kit box.
Oh, yeah.
So it was in the studio and it looks like a safe. So these guys knew, huyu jamaa anatanga pesa hapa.
Na sasa unachapiwa makeup.
So wananitisha safe. And me, I've never owned a safe. In fact, my money only fits on M-Pesa.
Yeah.
Inatosha, you know.
So they slap you, they tie you up.
Yes, and they packed for them everything. It was there. Kila kitu ilikuwa juu ya meza. You know, we were just waiting to leave. We were going to load the things in the car and leave. So they took everything. So, but what I really thank God for is that these guys, hata nikishawapakia kila kitu, and that time I was from shooting the week. It was on a Saturday, so the whole week I was in Safari Park shooting for an NGO event. That like a conference for 4 days. So I brought in my main hard disk to back up the pictures. So my main hard disk was on top of the mesa. So these guys, when they tied me up, they beat me, they put me in my bathroom. I had a bathroom inside the studio. So they put me inside. So my prayer was, they take everything else, but not wachane tu na hard disk and the computer. Because I didn't want to lose any client's job. And remember, today is when I brought the main hard disk to the studio. I don't keep it in the studio.
Na walibeba your hard disk?
No. So when I was rescued by the askaris and all that, ile nilifunguliwa macho hivi, my first nini was do ile hard disk. Yeah. After I saw the hard disk, I relaxed.
How were you rescued?
An askari had to come in through the window. You know, I did those movie things, niliuma tape, nikauma tape, nikajitoa. I started shouting, screaming. So someone heard me screaming. And when they heard, I told them what's happening. So they came in through the bathroom window. They untied me. And by the time they were untying me, the lady who had gone to buy snacks was already back and shared her keys. Because these guys locked me inside the studio with my own keys and left with them.
Wow.
Yeah. So thank God the lady had carried her keys.
Hey, history yako man. We thank God you came out alive, and we thank God that He kept you. Are there any other challenges that you have faced?
Most challenges are to do with maybe payments. Because there are times you agree with someone,
inakuwa shida.
Inakuwa ni shida. So, but how I overcome such challenges these days is, if you want to engage me, please, I will not move until you move.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is really wise.
Yeah. Because people take us for granted, and they don't take photography as a career, as a serious career.
True.
Yeah. So they tell me, I have this event, or I want you to do this and this. Just come and shoot, and then takusort baadaye. So that thing for baadaye, stop it. So it's either you pay now at least 50%,
Yeah.
or I don't show up.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, I won't wait for you until the last day and then I tell you you need to pay me. No, I'll keep on reminding you. Remember you asked me to do this and this. Yes. So remember I gave you a quotation. This is a quotation. Please do something. Yeah. If you don't do, don't expect me. Yeah.
So kaka, in photography kuna kitu inaitwa retouching. What is that?
Retouching is sprucing up a picture.
What?
Sprucing up. Or making a picture look much better than the original image.
Ni
so
kama
editing. Simply
okay.
It's editing. Yeah, but people tend to misuse that word. People ask photographers, are you going to retouch? But if you ask the person asking you to retouch, they don't know what
it is.
Yes.
Tunafikirianga ni filter kaya Snapchat.
Ni kama filter.
Instagram.
Kidogo ni kama filter. But it's a job on its own.
Okay.
I told you some photographers are good at just taking photos. Others are good at taking photos and can do a bit of retouch. So I happen to be one of the guys who can do both. But people don't understand that. You cannot, if I'm to do maybe portraits of you, I'll do maybe minimum of 20 shots, but you'll end up using 1 or 2, maybe for the specific reason why you look for me.
Yeah, true.
So we cannot retouch 20 pictures.
All of them.
Yeah.
Ndio maana mnatuambianga chagua.
Yes, we chague kama 2 3 because retouching takes time. It's a bit expensive because we want to charge it like a full day shoot. For me to retouch 20 images, maybe it's a whole day.
Yeah.
So if I should invoice you for a whole day, the same way I'll invoice you to take pictures a whole day.
Kwa hivyo mtu akipewa quotation kubwa asitete. Retouching is in there.
Yes, because if I don't have time, I'll have to pay someone else.
So kaka, tell us, how do you know who's a big client, who's a small client?
For me, there's no big client or small client. A client is someone who's able to pay me for my services.
Wow.
So depending on what you want, the invoice can go higher or lower.
Depending on what you want.
Depending on what you want. So I don't rank people just because of their title, maybe the society, that is a big client. I try and treat them the same way. But I'll give you more depending on what you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So kaka, mtu akitaka kukupata, where can they get you?
Sanduku la posta.
Ni
Sanduku la posta ni PO box private bag hapo. But anyway, people can find me on my social media platforms. That's where you can find my work. www.peterkaka.net. You can check out my social media pages at Peter Kaka on Instagram and Twitter, and at Peter Kaka Photography on Facebook.
Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I have learned a lot from you. I hope you people watching have learned something from him. My perspective about photography has totally changed. I have learned about retouching and that it comes with an extra fee. Kwa hivyo musitete photographer akisema akikupea quotation, si ndio? So that was it for today, people. Thank you so much for watching. My name is MAGGIE KARIMI and this was Art Garage. And in case you missed this episode, catch us on our YouTube platform. Bye!